Welcome back to another episode. My name is Desmond Soon. I am a certified business appraiser, and we have Canada's none other than number one CPA, Josh Sproul of Sproul & Associates, with us in this video. In this video, we are going to answer your questions, so stick on all the way to the end about how to grow a business fast. And it might be something that you've never even thought about. So, Josh, in building a business fast, we hear this all the time. I Google YouTube videos all the time on this topic, and there's a plethora of opinions on this.
Opinions.
I'd like to hear your answers, your opinions, and not just an opinion backed with actual facts, statistics of what actually works. And if I'm a business owner right now, regardless of whether I'm under 100,000, under $1 million, over $1 million, and I am seriously thinking about how I can strategically increase the revenue of my business. If that's you, comment below, let us know how I can double my revenue in less time. Is it gonna be some sort of gimmick? Is it gonna be some sort of I bought this course, I took this seminar? Is that gonna be the magic, the secret sauce that I've been looking for to grow my business, Josh?
Unfortunately, there is no secret sauce. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I mean, let's walk through the odds of actually doing this. So for every 5,000 people there are in Canada, there's only approximately 200 business owners. 200 business owners. 4% of the population
do the math
are actually going to be business owners. 4% of those will ever last 10 years or more.
Wow.
Okay. Then we have to capture that further. Only half of those will ever get to 5 employees or more. Okay. Only half of those will ever build something big enough, valuable enough that they can actually sell.
Or even maybe pass off to another generation, right?
That's right. Only half of those will ever build something that's worth $1 million or more. You start totaling up all those odds, and taking percentages one after the other. It works out to about 1 in 5,000 people will ever sell a business for $1 million or more. It is the holy grail. It's one of the most efficient things you can do in Canada for tax purposes. But statistically, it's about as likely that you would play in the NHL then you would actually build $1 million business. It's roughly the exact same.
I just want to wrap my head around that. I have higher odds of playing in the NHL, me, Desmond, playing in the NHL, than the average business owner getting to that level.
If we could rewind, back to when you were 5 years old, put you in minor hockey, you have about a 1 in 5,000 odds of actually playing 400 games or more in the NHL, which is the same odds virtually of building $1 million business. Yes.
Wow. So then why do business owners start business if the odds are so stacked against them? It's like, it's crazy.
It's the dream.
It is the dream.
It's the dream, freedom, right? It's thought that it would be easier, but there generally is a proven path, but it's not easy.
And how long does it take the average business owner to build a business from scratch to that level?
The majority of any business that ever sells have been around for at least 5 years and likely longer than 10. So it is a decade-long project to actually get to that, I've built something that's worth 7 figures. That is the proven, when you study it, it's like, are there outliers? Of course there are outliers. People also win the lottery. Some people have a rich uncle that dies in some other country that that wills them money. It's like, that stuff happens. Yes, you can't deny it, but over and over and again, it's a decade-long project, not weeks, not months. Right. It's a decade.
But that's not what everyone wants to hear, Josh. I mean, these days I'm on the internet, I'm getting hit with ads like, buy my 3 simple step process, and start making a 6-figure income.
1997. It's always random with 7, right?
I thought I could be sitting on some beach with a laptop drinking a pina colada or something and making $1 million.
You've got to fact check those people. And I'll tell you how to fact check them. It's unbelievably simple. So building $1 million business is hard. Fact checking these people is simple. Google them. Find out, do they have a real office?
Right.
Do they have real employees that actually work for them? Right. I always tell people, you would learn more from a plumber with 10 employees than you would from a CPA, a lawyer, an internet guru who's by himself living the laptop lifestyle, because you're essentially always, learning how to build a business from, $1 million business, a 7-figure business from someone who's never done it themselves. And that you just got to fact check it.
And speaking from an appraiser's point of view here, this is something that I've talked in, I've been asked to speak on stages, I've been asked to consult on this point, and that is most of these guys, and I'm guilty of it because I have come from the internet marketing world. I was a digital marketer. I still do digital marketing. In fact, we encourage business owners to actually grow that side of business. But the fallacy happens when I meet the new generation of entrepreneurs, and sure, they may have funnels and they may have marketing, but they don't have a sustainable income and they don't have a sellable business. They don't have an actual tangible asset. So ask yourself this question. If you were to go to the bank today and they took you out of the equation, is your business, would it continue? Would it continue to value up? Would it continue to accrue in asset value? If you don't, then all you've got is a funnel. All you've got is just maybe a high income process coming in, and that's fine and dandy. People make 6 figures, 7 figures, even 8 figures doing that. But the moment they stop, that money stops coming in as well. They get taken out by a bus, they get sick, something happens to them, that all stops. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it as a wise guy once told me, is like, pretend you got abducted by aliens. Mm-hmm. If you get abducted by aliens, the alien abduction test, what happens to your business the next day after you get abducted by aliens?
Right.
Do the checks keep coming in? Mm-hmm. Does the staff continue to get paid? Would you get paid? Would your
Mm-hmm.
family get paid?
Right.
If no, you generally do not have a sellable asset.
Right. And that's coming from a CPA. So now, Josh, let me ask, let's bring it back to, I want to double my business. I want to grow my business, okay? I'm an entrepreneur. I've been working hard. What's how do I speed up that timeline? What are some of the things I can do?
So, I study ways that make it statistically likely for someone to grow their business. And most of those ways that are statistically likely to grow a sustainable business, like I said, they're not weeks or months, they're years, they're a decade or more. But every time we hear someone who skipped a couple of steps,
Right.
They got there, they have that 7-figure business, and they're only a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, we generally hear something over and over again, is they made a very strategic acquisition. They did not start from zero. They acquired someone else in the same or similar business, and it's not a huge transaction. Yeah. And what they did is they acquired someone who's worth $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, and they grew that to $1 million.
And they keep repeating that process. They leverage that, right?
Yes. Yes.
I've been taking courses. I have a great mentor who has taught how to roll up companies and acquire. You see, at some point, if you're a business owner, you will realize there is a finite amount of time and resources that you have. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Even if you start bringing in staff and you bring in more sales staff and you put up more marketing budget and ads, yeah, sure, you can scale some things, but it's so much faster if you can double that business by acquiring your competitor or even a similar business. Is that what you're saying?
100%. It's infinitely easier to get from 500,000 to $1 million than from 0 to $1 million.
Right.
It just accelerates the process so much. All of that work that someone else put into it, you can start from right there. You're literally years ahead if you can acquire a same or similar business, and you're starting the relay race from the third leg of the relay. You're the fourth guy who runs in and just gets it across the line.
Well, but if it was so easy, why don't more people do it? I mean, why don't business owners actually, think of doing that? Is it because they don't understand the process? Is it too complicating? Is it scary? Do they need financing? What holds them back?
Generally, the businesses that you need to acquire are not even listed for sale.
Okay.
So it's like...
What do you mean by that? Yeah.
When we hear of the business owner who actually made that strategic acquisition, it tends to be by luck and serendipity.
Right.
They just happen to go to some event, or they're sitting there at the supplier.
They're introduced by someone.
And they're a 30-year-old electrician, and the 65-year-old electrician just walked through the door, and he wants to get out for one reason, and it just happened to be there. Right time, right place. But generally the people who want to buy and the people who want to sell, who actually have a business that you want, right? Yeah. Not just you're logging on to one of these listing services to find a business in a completely different field, or they just don't connect, right? They're just not connecting. So that tends to be the barrier, really.
Right. Okay. So do they, people will retain my services.
Yes.
They retain your services. They'll normally ask these questions. We have several examples of clients right now who are already asking us, Josh, Desmond, what should I be looking at to purchase? So then it begs the next question. What is the value of a broker, and who pays the broker?
So broker is going to help you accelerate this process because the broker is going to connect you with people who actually want to sell. And I don't mean people who have a $200,000 business who think it's worth $2 million.
Right.
The broker is going to connect you with people who have a $200,000 business that want to sell it for $200,000.
Right.
The broker is going to help you do that, right? And the broker can make sure you're actually approaching someone who's selling, who's actually ready to sell.
Yep.
They got the appraisal in place that they need. They have the documents in place that they need. They have realistic expectations, and then it becomes an asset that you can acquire, for little or sometimes no cash at all. Really, right. We can finance some of it through the bank, and we can finance some of it through vendor financing.
Many times the broker even helps the purchaser to get the financing or at least get the process started. Is that correct?
100%, right? And from the purchaser's point of view, you brought up who pays the broker. That's an excellent question. The person selling the business is the one paying the broker.
Yeah.
So to not reach out to these brokers if you're someone who wants to make an acquisition or even potentially wants to make an acquisition is kind of crazy. Because it's completely free.
Right.
To have that relationship with a business broker, remember, you're never going to pay them a dime. They only get paid from the vendor if something actually transacts. So just to always have that line out in the water just to see if the right transactions come.
I had a multi-million-dollar mentor that always said, you want to have certain advisors around you. You want to have your legal advisors, for litigations. You want to have your CPAs, your fractional CFOs around you. You want to have several, financial planners in other areas. Yep. And one of them is when you have someone going to bat for you and helping you to bring good businesses that just need a solid individual, maybe yourself, who wants to scale, who is ethical, who is, who actually cares, who actually wants to help clients. Well, guess what? This person needs to exit. You might just want to scale your business. And this is why we think this is one of the fastest ways to grow a business, Josh. Now, before we let our viewers go, and comment below if you guys want to know more about this. Let us know. I'll get Josh to extrapolate more on this and get into more details. But let's just talk about the risks. What if someone thought, hey, I just watched this video, I'm going to go do it myself, Josh. What are the inherent risks of doing that?
What goes wrong is you just don't see enough, right? Okay. So your broker, they are going to vet the opportunities that are available. So they know that this is not just this is a person who's interested in sale, but this is the person who actually has a realistic expectation. They have all the documents together, and you're not going to spend, hours and hours wasting time going through something that's not likely to close. It's never a guarantee that a deal is going to close, but it just dramatically increases the chances, and it lets you cast a wider net, right? I always say it's like most of the purchases that we see, I equate it to buying a house. Imagine if you only looked at one house. Well, looking at one house always looks better than homelessness. Right. Buying that one house looks better than being homeless and on the street. But if you looked at 10 houses, your opinion of that one might change drastically. But as a busy business owner, how are you ever going to find the time to do it?
That's going to evaluate and appraise and look at
it's not scalable. So you end up buying the one that's in front of your face rather than the one back here, which is the good deal.
Gotcha. So we're going to wrap it up here. Josh has got to get to another meeting. Obviously, you've got more questions. Reach out. There's a link somewhere around the bottom of this video. Reach out. If you reach out, I will make sure Josh goes into further detail to answer your question. In fact, Josh has already committed that if you're a serious business owner that's looking to scale and double your business, he will put in the time, free of charge. He'll put in the time to actually have an initial consultation with you. This is something he told me off camera before we got on, and he will actually map it out. What's a good idea for you? Maybe this is not a good fit. Maybe it's not the right time. But get the right information before you make a decision. On the other hand, if you're serious about actually scaling your business, doubling your growth, I would say contact Josh. Reach out. We'll see you in the next video.